chair, fellow speakers and guests. Thank you, David. It's all right, we can do everything back to front. It works. Last meeting, I was working on my speech around use of vocabulary, and I discovered what the word alliteration meant, which was repetition of sound, and that gave me an idea. And that's going to be today's topic session, which is tongue twisters. Now, tongue twisters are used for children to help develop their language and getting their mouth to be able to have the right kind of shape to get the right kind of sound, because every language, as Yola will know, you have to make a different shape to your mouth to get the correct sound. And of course, Anne will also know from using French, the sound ooh and e and sir, you don't use in French, so you have to get your mouth to produce these fantastic shapes. So we're going to use lots of different shapes tonight. And not only is it good for children, it is also good for actors, politicians and public speakers. And it's used so that your projection of your voice is loud and clear. So you will choose a topic from this bag. There we go. And then give it to me so I get a chance to read it out. And then you will get the piece of paper so that you can also read it if you don't happen to know it. You will each have 3 minutes. And the challenge is to repeat the tongue twister twice in your 3 minutes. In whatever way, so you can make up your story around it, but you have to say it twice. So I've put the timings at green at 2, amber at 2:30, red at 2:50, off at 3:15. So let's see what you can do with.
It's a long one.
You know New York, you need New York, you know you need unique New York.
I've never heard of that one. I'll never remember it, so I'll have to read it. I've got to get the glasses.
You're walking out in discussion.
Chair topics, fellow speakers and guests. New York, New York, so good. They named it twice. And in certain phrases, and what turned out to be a tongue twister, they named it 3 times. And why not? New York is a great place. You know New York. You need New York, and now you know you need unique New York. You've seen it all in televisions, in movies. It's almost like we've been there, and if you do get to New York, you can walk through places like Times Square and you think, I've been here before, I know this, I've seen it. And there are spots of it which are very unique, which you wouldn't actually find anywhere else in the world. And once you see New York, I think it gets a little bit under your skin, because it's a very vibrant place, and as they say, it never sleeps. Or was that Seattle? But let me assure you, New York doesn't sleep either. It's just endless traffic and hustle and bustle of people. And the New York accent is also quite unique amongst American accents. It's got a definite twang which you can pick up. And it's a mixture of lots of different cultures and nationalities all coming together in a mishmash, much as America is, but I think that it's really sort of exaggerated or exemplified in New York. There are certain things like the yellow taxis which are unique to New York, and the big shopping malls, big names like Stacey's, not Moneypenny, that was James Bond, wasn't it? Pennies. There are stores that are unique to New York, and I would really urge people to go if you can, because it is an experience. The vibe of the place is an experience. The people are very different, and they're quite abrupt in some ways. So when you go, you do actually know New York already, and you need New York because it's part of our heritage. We've grown up with it in the movies. You know that you need New York, unique New York.
Well, that particular tongue twister came to me because my husband was practicing for his singing, and that was one of the exercises, was unique New York, unique New York. So very good for singers too. So
We should have said I'd have sung it.
this one is the lip. Ooh, there we go. The lips of the teeth of the tip of the tongue. What can you say about the lips, the teeth, and the tip of the tongue?
Topic, Chair, fellow speakers. When you go to the doctors as a child, it's sometimes quite difficult because you're scared. Maybe the first time that you actually get white coat syndrome, there's a smell. A distinctive smell in a doctor's surgery, and distinctive, almost, say medical, but you can't really put your finger on it, whether it's the chemicals or the starch in the uniforms or the white coat. So sometimes what they do for children when they go to the doctor is the doctor will get the child to point to particular parts of the body. The lips, the teeth, and the fifth of the tongue. And the children are relaxed. It's fun. It's fun if they're going to get an injection. Or we might have to be examined. They might have a broken arm. Or they might have a headache. But they're relaxed. Because they think it's fun. And the doctor has said to them, point out bits of your body for me. My foot. My knee. My elbow. My head. And the children laugh. They think it's a game. They're not scared anymore. And then the doctor might say to them, can you remember what we said at the beginning? What you pointed out first? And the child will think, we were saying, the lips, the teeth, and the tip of my tongue.
Very good.
Thank you. Time, please.
2:30.
Well, that was actually another singing one, but this was when I was at Rockwood Park and I was able to join the choir, and we had to sing the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, and the teacher would take us up on the scale, so we were going up, and then we'd go back down, and each section would have their part. So yes, lots of fun at singing the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. How about, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Toughest chair, members and guests. Chair. I used to be a carpenter years ago. In my spare time, not as a job, just in my spare time. In fact, I used to do DIY. I used to saw wood, cut wood, and hammer and nails. And used to use these things. Sometimes I used to chuck it at people, the wood. When people I didn't like and walking past, I'd get this wood and I'd chuck it. Sometimes I'd chuck more than one piece. I'd chuck 2 or 3 pieces of wood at them. And one guy said, "Why do you do that?" He said, "How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?" I said, "Well, I don't know. How much wood? It depends how much wood he's got." So I thought, well, this is fun. So I made all sorts of things out of wood, made toys and things. And then I had a friend who was actually an actor called Edward Woodward. He played the Terminator, the Alan. Callan. Oh, he also played, not the Exterminator,
Equalizer.
Equalizer, that's it, he played the Equalizer, yeah. And he used to do carpentry as well. He made his own type of wood. In fact, there's balsa wood and there's plywood, and he said Woodward made his own type of wood. And because he's an actor, he was in a play, and I don't know where I'm going with this. One day he was in this play and they needed a type of wood. So they asked the director, who was Woody Allen. He's a director. And he said, "So what type of wood shall we use for this?" And someone said, "Let's use that Edward Woodward wood. That would be good." And, so he started chucking his wood about. And you can guess what they said to him, can't you? They said, "How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?" And Edward Woodward said to Woody Allen, "I don't know." And everyone left at that point because they thought they're stupid. Well, you would, wouldn't you? I don't actually know what a woodchuck is. I think it's a type of bird, or maybe it's one of those birds that you have on the weather vanes, like those wooden chickens and things. I don't know. So I think that's all I can do with this thing. But if we're only allowed to do it twice, I've done it twice. I could do it a third time, but I don't think I will. In fact, I will. I'm going to end up saying the thing. Yeah, after all that story, Woody Allen made another film, and the title of the film was "How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?" And it became a hit, and it won the Palme d'Or.
Oh, thank you very much for that. 10 out of 10 for humour. Time, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, giving you a chance to recover, this was one of my father's tongue twisters. I'm not quite sure how it came out and in what circumstance, but I distinctly remember him telling me, "How much chuck would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?" And it turns out there's another bit to it which goes, "He would chuck as much chuck he would chuck as much as he could and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood.